Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Loops here. I haven't made a video in quite some time. My MacBook that I had before ended up taking a dump on me. Battery ended up going out. I replaced the battery, and turns out that the actual operating system, the processor, ended up going out too. So I finally have another MacBook. So now I'm making a video and I'll be able to post this so you guys will see this up, but I'm sorry about the lack of videos lately. Everything that I've been doing to the car lately as well has been pretty boring, I guess. The only interesting thing I guess I did do was actually take the engine out and the transmission, subframes, all that good stuff, rear diff. So all those did come out of the vehicle, but as of right now, I've been working on wiring, the fuel setup. There's a lot of different stuff going on now with the car. I'm gonna try to go over some of the things. I'm not gonna go too in depth. Once the car is definitely running and everything, then I'll go in depth of everything that I've done, some of the specs and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, overall the car, as you guys know, it's torn down. It's pretty much a rolling shell right now. So I just need to get everything pretty much all set and done on the car, and then once that's all set and done, obviously get the car running, break it in, all the good stuff. Pretty much gonna go from there. But yeah, the GC is literally right in front of me, so I'm gonna show you guys essentially what's going on here. Just kind of like a quick overview, just kind of give you guys an update. It's gonna be pretty crazy. The next time it comes out, it should be 1,000+ wheel horsepower. Not really sure what it's going to make on the turbo setup that I'm getting, but we'll see. I'm honestly just going for whatever the turbo will max out at. So, because I highly doubt the injectors are going to max out, because I'm running a dual setup now, so I'm running 2 sets of injectors. So I really doubt that I'm going to max out the injectors, but we'll see. Yeah, let me show you guys the car. All right, so there she is. She's just hanging out. I have my heads just hanging out over there, radiator as well. TSS subframes are hanging out also. I need to finish getting these all set and repainted. Yeah, the heads themselves are getting new cams. There's going to be new cams on this car now. Really aggressive lobe that is going to be set up on these. Yeah, it's hanging out there. Kind of have a whole parts pile here. Have one transmission here, so this was my old built 6-speed. Still waiting on somebody to pick it up, so we'll see if somebody ends up taking this one. This right here is an 07 STI 6-speed, so that right there is going to be the one that's going to be getting donated as a donor or core for the sequential build. So I am going with an X shift sequential, so I'm no longer going to be H pattern. It's going to be just pulling a lever back, and then yeah, that'll be pretty much my whole shifting technique. Right here is my old block. I need to degrease it some and clean up the actual engine before I get it over to my buddy, because I am actually going to be swapping this into a VASTI, and it should be getting some pretty good mods here. So yeah, I just need to get that all cleaned up. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have sitting right here. Rotated setup is sitting back there. Have some exhaust hanging out as well. But yeah, right now this whole space is a parts pile, so I just need to get it kind of cleaned up and get everything moving. But yeah, let me show you guys under the engine bay. I have been cleaning up some of the wiring. Some of you guys have been looking at my Instagram stories, have been seeing me cleaning up my wiring, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. All right, so here it is. Been trying to clean up as much wiring as I could. So essentially all the braided loom wire I've been doing on everything, kind of trying to see where I can extend and shorten the harness to make everything as clean as possible. So I have all this going on right here. I went ahead and actually swapped this over to one dedicated DTM plug. It's going to be for my secondary set of injectors and then some of my safeties that go through the firewall. I did delete the actual heater core as well, so I no longer have a heater core, as y'all can see. I do need to get some type of plate for that to kind of cover it up. I just don't really like the way that it looks just open like that. I could also seal it off with some RTV, but yeah, I've been trying to clean up the wiring as much as I could here, and I think this is about maybe as far as I can probably get for now. I could technically tuck the engine harness, but I don't know. They look cool and all, don't get me wrong, they look really nice, but I think for this I kind of don't really mind too much about having a show look on this car. So I'm just gonna keep the harness as is. Like I said, just extending, shortening some wires as needed, and yeah, I think that will pretty much clean up the look a lot. Definitely don't have any more of the bulky wiring cover that Subaru uses. It was quite a bit that I did remove. So yeah, and I'm gonna have to remove my fuel lines. So I'm gonna be removing these 2 fuel lines. So I was running -8 feed and then -6 return. So I'm gonna be swapping those out for some bigger fuel lines, since I will actually need those. And then I am actually gonna be deleting the battery tray, kind of start drilling out some of the holes here. It actually is pretty hard to get this thing removed on a GC. I don't know why. They use a lot of like the body sealant on this actual tray, so it's been really hard for me to kind of try to pry this thing out. But I am going to be cutting that out just to kind of clean up the engine bay some more, and kind of gonna clean that little section right here too, so this is going to be cut out as well. But yeah, I mean, the engine bay, I'm just trying to clean it up at least a little bit more than what it was before, kind of go from there. I might end up replacing this rubber insulator grommet gasket thing as well. So yeah, just trying to clean everything up as much as I can. And I think overall right now it's looking pretty nice. It is kind of weird seeing this whole engine bay empty, not having an engine in there or transmission or subframes. It's really odd. Yeah, really weird. But for essentially what I am going to be doing for the whole like engine setup is I'm actually gonna be doing like a custom block on the car. So it's gonna be essentially almost like all the parts are pretty custom. There's gonna be some Cali's parts, and I'm gonna be working with ZF Design on doing some Italian RP stuff for the internals. Probably gonna do king bearings and all that good stuff. But essentially what I'm doing is, in theory, I'm gonna actually make my, I think it's the rod or piston to rod stroke ratio, or essentially the stroke ratio for the engine. I'm trying to clean it up as much as I can because I'm trying to rev the car out to 2,500 RPMs. So I'm going to end up de-stroking the actual engine to approximately a 2.3 liter and essentially lightening the whole rotating assembly. And with that, hopefully I can reach 9,500, 10,000 RPMs for RPM band. The turbo I'm going to be running on the car, it is pretty huge. Probably won't be seeing full spool until 6,000 RPMs, 6,200 RPMs maybe. I don't know, it all depends on how this whole short block ends up going. If I was probably on just like a stock 2.5, it might be like around 5,800 or 6K RPMs before it hits full spool. But with the new 2.3 de-stroker I'm doing, it's going to be drastically different. It's going to be more of a top end range engine instead of it being like kind of like lower mid torque or mid to high torque. It's going to be primarily high-end torque for the whole setup there. So we'll see. Throwing in bigger cabs, of course, updated valve train, dual valve springs, retainers, all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, the engine's gonna be pretty crazy. Like I said, sequential as well. That is gonna be pretty gnarly. And the reason why I'm going with the whole de-stroker setup is because I actually don't really have to lift off on throttle. And the car is primarily gonna be a drag car, so just kind of just going in a straight line. Never really have to let off the throttle unless, you know, kind of things get kind of sketchy. I need to let off. So bigger turbo, you know, de-stroker. I know those two are kind of a mix for extreme turbo lag, which I don't really care about. Like I said, I'm going to be on a sequential, so I can just, you know, never lift off the throttle, just plop the lever back, and it'll just be shifting for me. So we'll see how it goes. Of course, with everything, I'm going to have to do some further mods. I'm going to go ahead, show you guys the interior. It's completely torn apart, and I kind of go over like the rest of the stuff I'm going to do, which is like safety related. All right. And in here we have more stuff hanging out. Literally a parts pile car right now. Yeah, for essentially what's going to be going on in the interior here, it's going to be quite a few changes. So essentially, of course, I'm finally going to have a roll cage in the car. So I am going to be deleting this bar, going to be going to a roll cage, and I'm going to actually be doing a parachute mount. So this car will be having a parachute the next time you guys see it on the street. As far as like where I'm going to do the handle for the parachute, I might do it down here, kind of like an e-brake style, kind of like I have here, but instead of having a lever here, I'll have another lever right here. Pull that up whenever I need to use a parachute. But I will need one for sure, and I definitely need a roll cage. Safety is like one of those factors that you really don't want to undermine. So I am going to be doing that as well, just kind of keep my safety up. I should have done it last year, but I just wasn't really pushing the car too hard. Really didn't drive it too much. So yeah, this time we're going to go complete roll cage, parachute mount, all that good stuff. For the ECU, I'm going to be running a Haltech S3. So I actually do have that hanging out somewhere inside here, but Haltech S3 is going to be now taking care of the ECU control. We're going to be running 8 injectors, of course. I have my dual injector TGVs just kind of hanging out back here. So and that is going to be pretty sweet. I already have a set of 1300s hanging out, so I have some 1300s hanging out here. I have my dual injector feed fuel rails as well. I'm going to be running a surge tank, which is why you guys see that there. So surge tank, of course, it's going to be pretty insane. It's going to be essentially running 3 fuel pumps into that surge tank, so that's going to be wild. I have my Process West manifold hanging out, of course, and some other parts, of course, that are just hanging out here. And I'm going to have to do some different intercooler piping as well. The turbo that I am going to be running now, it is pretty huge, so the exhaust housing on the turbo is going to be a lot bigger, so I can no longer run the actual ETS piping on it just because the hot site's too big. So I needed to upgrade the piping, which is why you guys saw me kind of like parting all this stuff out and all my piping and all that good stuff. Bigger piping, of course. I'm going to be doing a different radiator as well. I'm going to be essentially trying to clean up as much engine space as I can, just because I am running a pretty tight on engine space and clearance when it comes to my engine, my radiator, and kind of like the frame rails and all that good stuff. So I'm just trying to clear up as much space as I can, kind of like clean things up. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. Suspension is going to be brand new, of course, new subframes. The rear diff is going to be refreshed. Going to be probably doing a Cusco limited slip diff on the rear. I don't know if I'm going to do, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna probably stick to a 1-way or 1.5 way. Highly doubt I'm gonna do 2-way. That'd be too aggressive. But I'm gonna be doing another limited slip in the rear, and of course the built trans, upgraded diffs, upgraded DCCD magnets, of course, as well. So that's gonna be all done on the car. Of course, I'm gonna be running the radials. I'll be doing a custom hood exit on the car again to fit the new turbo. But yeah, it's a lot of exciting stuff. It really, what I'm doing here for like everybody that's like asking is I am essentially pushing my limits on what I can do as far as like anything Subaru related. I'm just really trying to see like how far can I take myself to build a car, you know, like what is the next level I can get to. What is something I have never seen done on a GC? What is something I haven't really seen done on Subarus? And that's essentially what I'm trying to do here. So with the engine setup, it's going to be completely different. I have seen a couple of WRC cars or rally cars running this engine setup before. It's going to be a little bit more different. It's going to be a little bit more dramatic on my setup here. It's going to be quite a bit. And if everything goes well, hopefully, maybe I might be able to work with DF and maybe make some more engines, maybe possibly some for you guys if you guys are interested, but we'll see. So as of right now, I'm just kind of pushing my limits, seeing what I can do on these Subarus and just seeing how everything works. This is definitely a step above me for sure, in terms of like performance, you know, wiring, all that good stuff. I have a lot of stuff going on in the trunk right now too, so I'll show you guys that as well. But yeah, it's a lot. Definitely not something that I thought I would ever be able to do, but here I am kind of getting everything all knocked out. This might be the last stage of the GC. I don't think I'm going to be doing many more mods after this. I know everybody says that, but I've just been investing so much in this car and it's really paid off. You know, I've met a lot of great people. I've met you guys, people on my Instagram, all that good stuff, but a lot of really great people, really awesome people, just, you know, very caring, very supportive. And you know, it's been a really great journey with like everything I've been doing to the car. But I think this might be the last setup that I'll be doing on the GC as far as like any like crazy builds or rebuilds on the car. At this point, if I were to do anything new, it'd probably be like a different set of injectors, maybe a different short block that ends up going out, transmission if the transmission ends up going out. But as far as like anything like too crazy, I think this might be the end all be all for the build. It is essentially my dream build that I'm putting together right now, and it's kind of crazy for me to even say that I'm putting it together. I just never thought that I'd be at this point where I'd be, you know, putting Subarus together, be putting my car together. I've worked on a couple other Subarus within the past couple of months as well. I'm gonna be swapping in an engine into the VA as well. I'm gonna be ripping out a couple of engines in the next 2 months or so. So it is kind of crazy just kind of seeing like how much I've progressed with everything. I've never really seen myself as a technician, and a lot of people were kind of like telling me after the TRC video, because I said I wasn't a technician or mechanic by any means. A lot of people are like, yeah, like you're pretty much a technician. I'm just like, well, I don't really work on cars full time. I've never really done it full time ever in my life. I only did it for maybe like a month or two before moving on from there. So I've never really worked on cars my entire life, at least something that like pays me every single day as like a full-time job. So it's not something that I'm exactly like used to, but it is kind of crazy just kind of seeing everything pay off and just how much trust you guys are putting into me with everything that I suggest or recommend. As always, you guys already know, if you guys ask me for any type of like, oh, what do you recommend? Like, you know, like, do you think I should do this or should I do that? You guys already know I'll either give you my recommendation and then tell you to consult your tuner, or if it's something that's like very, like, I guess, technical, or something that's like very like software related with like ECUs or like sensors and stuff like that, I would typically just have you guys go to your tuner and ask him to see what they would want you to do for like injectors, software, sensors, all that good stuff. So yeah, I do appreciate the support. You guys have been awesome, been here since like day one. Just the people that like really like kept up with the build, I really do appreciate you guys, and you guys have definitely seen me grow. You guys have seen my whole like channel, my whole profile grow, and it's just it's amazing to see just kind of how far, you know, you can really get with kind of just following your passions. So yeah, this might be the last build. It's gonna be crazy. Like I said, it's gonna be a really crazy build. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be the first, but I'm gonna be one of the few that are gonna be at 1,000 plus in a GC. I know there are a couple already, so we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be really rowdy. It's gonna be crazy. I'm super excited. So yeah, let me show you guys what's going on in the trunk real quick, and then after that, we'll probably end it off. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the car. Essentially, I've been kind of working on wiring the relays and kind of cleaning up the wiring here. Running 4 fuel pumps that are going to be hardwired to the relays. So that's going to be all set up here. It's going to be a really interesting setup, just kind of how I'm staging everything for the fuel pump. And I do have my OEM fuel pump that's going to be running through over here. I'm actually going to be doing different wiring for the actual power and ground for the fuel pump, just because it is going to be a pretty huge fuel pump there. So with this whole fuel setup, I'm not running a brushless. I'm essentially running a feed to the surge tank, and then of course all of the fuel pumps from the surge tank are going to power the engine from there, or feed the engine I should say. So it's going to be pretty interesting just kind of how the whole setup is going to be. And I wasn't too sure on how to set up like an actual surge tank at first, but once I got kind of like the hang of everything and kind of started figuring out how like everything gets set up, it's not too bad. The fuel lines are going to be kind of a PITA. I really do think they're going to be a pain, but we'll see how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be. But yeah, that is pretty much the whole update on the car. Some parts I might be looking for pretty soon. If anybody knows a hookup on who I can get a solid carbon rear version 6 wing from, let me know. Just because I am going to be looking into getting another wing for the car. And then if anybody has a 2.5 RS black glove box, let me know as well, because my glove box was chopped up by the previous owner, and as you guys saw it on the floor, I didn't notice it was chopped up until I actually took it off. And I do want one that's not chopped up, of course. So if anybody has like either a 2.5 RS black glove box, let me know. Or if anybody knows the hookups on a version 6 carbon fiber rear wing, let me know as well, because I do want to get those too, and I do want to be running a wing again. So yeah, just let me know. But yeah, that essentially is going to be it for the build. As you guys are aware, I'll be posting on my Instagram stories every now and then, kind of just showing you guys the process on everything. But yeah, so far I would say the build has been going pretty well with the GC. Like I said, we're barely starting off on everything, so we'll see how it all goes. I appreciate you guys so much for the support. I appreciate you guys so much for the follows, you know, and everything. Is just, you guys are all awesome. And I know that I can be a ghost sometimes. I was just working a job that it was really hard for me to kind of keep track of work and like do other stuff on the side. So I am out of that now, and yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for the support and everything. You know, as always, if you guys have like any questions, concerns, if you guys need any help with anything, always feel free to shoot me a message. I try my best to reply to you guys as quick as possible, so just shoot me a message if you guys have any questions, and I'll reply as soon as I can. I know I've been kind of a hermit on social media lately. I just kind of took like a little break. I've been kind of stepping away from it a little bit, just trying to focus on kind of what's going on here and work on my car and just all that good stuff. I just really, when I hone in, I just try to hone in. So yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. That is essentially the whole update on the GC. Wish me luck. I hope it all goes well. And next time you guys see this thing running, it is gonna be extremely quick. It is gonna be insane. And I really hope you guys enjoy the whole build when it comes out. I'll try to record some more of what I'm doing to the car. It's primarily gonna be boring stuff. Yeah, wiring is not really that fun to watch, and that's coming from me. I enjoy it because I'm able to see how people are like kind of wiring their things and how I can be more thorough and all that stuff, kind of understand the theory. But I know wiring can be pretty boring, so I kind of don't really want to record that. When it gets to like the engine building and stuff, I'll probably record that, and then, you know, of course record slapping in the subframes and all the good stuff. But yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate the support, I appreciate the love, and as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care and stay safe. If you guys did want to look into my Instagram as well, my Instagram is itsloops, just like my YouTube, ITSLOUPS. If you guys want to check it out and see everything I've done, it should all be on there. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Y'all take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, peace.